Okay, we are live now, so I'll go ahead and start the intro.
Okay.
Welcome to our weekly webinar. Today we have Gijs Nielsen, and the webinar for today is Action, Activating Large Audiences. Gijs, take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Naomi. Yeah. Welcome to this webinar, activating live audiences. To introduce myself, I don't know if you read anything about me, but I'm Gijs, and I studied physics when I was a boy. But then we have Wim. Hi, Wim Bouwman. Yeah, I know Wim from a long time, and Wim knows already that I also give the theory course. I'm an education fundamentalist. I'm always intrigued by fundamental ideas or fundamental flaws that sneak into our teaching, because there's some very simple rules that we tend to forget, and those things happen everywhere on all subjects. So if you don't mind, I do want to start this course with I guess the most important page ever, and that's this page, which allows me to put your ideas over here. And I think the best thing I could do is not to tell you how it's done or whatever. No, it's much more fun that I ask you this horrifically simple question, for which you give a very simple answer. Yeah, and I will interact with the people I can see. I don't know if people are visible if they have their camera on. But if so, then please put your camera on, because then I can also see you say something. Okay, activation. Why on earth would you want to activate your audience? Because you can't get through your content anyway, isn't it? Yeah. So that's and you have piles of content and you want to process them. You want to get them through your lecture, and then you're going to activate. Now, maybe to begin with. I guess, am I wrong if what you do resembles, after COVID, resembles this picture again? This is what you do, isn't it? Yeah, it's the cheapest way of teaching, isn't it? Yeah, this is a lot of people over there, you over here. Now, very simple question, but why do you do this? Anybody?
Because it's always been done.
Everybody did it. Yeah. Wonderful reason. But other people, so please unmute. If there's no heavy drilling going on, you can unmute so you can say something. Or you can press, is it the same here that you press the space bar that you can say
I
something?
can say because it's too many people to teach individually.
Okay, so you do that because it's just too many. That's why you do this. So the aim is to survive too many people. Uh, so Roger goes to lecture halls to survive too many people. Other aims that you could have with doing this. Simple question, simple answer. What's Ernest? What's your reason to do this? Because
Yeah, well, first of all, to explain things, but
yeah, because that's why you came there. You came
yeah,
there to explain things, yeah? Apparently they were somehow crooked or somehow packed, and now you're going to explain it so they become very plain, yeah? That's why that's the reason. Too many. Explain other reasons why you're there.
Because you're not taking a risk. It's something that you know, and you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that it
yeah.
works relatively well.
Safety,
So stick to
safety.
it.
Sounds cool. Last reason why you do this, and then I'll add a reason that might also be the reason you do this, which might
because
be.
it's fun to do it.
It's fun to do it. So it's fun to do this. And yeah, wonderful. This is it's a lovely bunch of reasons to do this. Now, I did hear people have another reason. I heard teachers, but then after a long time, we don't have a long time, so I have to be a bit quick. They actually did this because they wanted to help the students learn something. That's it's a hilarious reason, of course. Yeah, it's hilarious if you do this for fun or to explain or for safety reasons or whatever. But there was learning involved. Yeah, learning. Okay, oh shit. So they should learn something. And here we get something rather peculiar. They should learn something, so you start to do something. That's weird. It's the wrong way around, I guess. But that's okay. So who agrees that learning of students is also a reason, or maybe even the main reason? Hand in the air. Main reason, learning of students. Yeah, and of course it's wonderful that you have fun. And I think it's good to explain something, and it's wonderful that you feel safe. And it's the only way to deal with too many people, is it? Well, maybe there's other ways, but I found that making them watch a video clip never really results in actual learning. So I have to do something with you anyway. Okay, so then we get to this point, learning. Okay, now you all have your BKO, you are all professional teachers, so you know yeah, in Holland, I don't know if that is the case in other countries, but in Holland we have this thing that we have tiles on the wall with sayings. Yeah, that's of the concert of life. Nobody gets a program. Yeah, and my grandmother had loads of them, and there was one was dedicated to teaching. So and you all know how that tile goes. It's so easy. So you had this. It was beautiful. It was in Delft blue, by the way. I don't have blue, but it had this tile on the wall, and it is. So it's about learning. It's about if you want to learn. So this was the main rule about learning. If you want to learn something, you should. So if you want to learn, you should. Now my question to you is, what's on the dots? Students, if students want to learn something, they watch the tile, you know exactly what needs to happen next. So if you want to learn, you should. Take it away. I'll write down the word because you immediately know what the most important word is. What is it?
Should be prepared to make mistakes.
You should be you should be
Prepared to make mistakes. Yeah.
Eager to make mistakes, or I didn't hear the first word, but eager to make mistakes. You should make mistakes. Wonderful. Mistakes. It's not actually the one that's on the title, but there's another word there. What's the vital thing when it comes to learning something? If you want to learn something, you need to
do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Yeah, do it yourself. Wonderful. That's almost where I have it.
Practice.
Wow. Big hand of applause. Big hand of applause. Practice. I'm very happy, Roger, that you are so. This is with an S, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe so. There was something with an S and a C.
Okay.
You know, I asked this to many teachers and professors and whatever. Most of them don't get it right this fast. So big hand of applause for Roger for getting it right this fast. So this is so you should practice, isn't it? And that has an effect on your teaching, I guess. It has an effect on and in Holland we're always very cheap. You know that. We don't want to waste money. So we use the same tiles to make tiles for teachers. The tile that should be above your bed when it comes to teaching your students or letting them learn something only needs one extra word. Could you all write down the one extra word on a piece of paper in front of you? Yeah? You write down the word and then you'll show the word to the screen. And only show it when I say it, because otherwise it goes too fast. Then people can see what you came up with. Okay, there's one word we can add, and then it becomes the tile of the teacher. Okay, you all have it. Hand in the air if you have something. Okay. Okay, very good. Miro is still, Get is still writing down. Okay, you have something. Okay, on the count of 3, you're showing your words to the camera. 1, 2, and 3.
Doesn't come up.
Okay, feedback. Let's provide talk constantly. Make wonderful. Okay. Okay. So you should make them practice or let them practice, or yeah, that's so this is your task, is to let them with respect for all the other words which are all in a good area, but you should let them practice. This is, I see a lot of teachers. I rarely have a group of people who have this like ingrained in their system. They say, of course, that's why I'm here. I need to make you practice. I do see way more teachers who have the feeling, I need to get rid of my content. And by the way, I have a lot of content and I should squeeze it into my lecture. Yeah. So that's, but this is your task, to let them practice. Okay. And then to do that in a setting like this, that's something, isn't it? So you're challenged, but this is true. So if the thing is that if you want them to learn something, they need to practice. Can we go a bit deeper in this, because it's interesting? There's something to get here. There's something to get here. Let's go wild. Let's go wild. And think, let's say you want your students, or your students want it themselves, they want to learn this. I don't know what this is. Yeah? They want to learn this. And we just learned, of course, that the idea is that they need to practice. But question to you, what should they practice? Anybody?
This?
Yeah, this sounds like obvious, isn't it? So it's obvious, yes. If you learn this, you need to practice this. Yeah. And then we come to the following, our intuitive reaction to this idea, wanting to teach somebody something. So you might know this. I know this for a long time, and when my kids were younger, maybe you remember when your kids, so the kids in the neighbor were younger. I remember I was cooking. I had my Father's Day, which doesn't mean that I get presents, but I had to do everything. And my son came home. Yeah, the boy came home. He came home via the back door. He opened the door. He threw his coat on the floor, and he walked to the Lego to start to play with the Lego. I was doing the cooking over here, cooking. I saw that happening, and you don't recognize this, but I went there and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Do you see what's there? Coat on the floor. If everybody would put their coats on the floor, it would be a complete mess. As if I don't have to cook at the same time. Well, will you promise me to never ever do that again? Then only for today, I will put your coat on the peg." Nobody recognizes this, of course, because you are all professional teachers. I'm just a fraud. Oh, that's interesting. This is interesting, because if you apply the rule that we just found, learn this, how simple can it be? Learn this, practice this. Does it go the other way around? If people practice this, do they learn this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it seems so. So my question to you would be, what did the kid just learn?
Dad's gonna solve it.
Dad's gonna solve it? Yeah. And what more? What more? And
What
he
not to
learned
do?
more.
What
No?
not to do?
What? Mabel, what?
What not to do?
What
So
not to do? What not to do? So, okay, you know what not to do? It's even more specific. With this rule, you can even understand it at a more specific level. What did the kid actually practice? The kid practiced to feel stupid, to stand there and wait for it to be over. And indeed, if he waits long enough, his dad will solve it anyway. So in the end, if you make them practice this, that's what they will learn. But he didn't learn to put his coat on the peg. So my task for you, and the people who are also here and not visible, so they can't really participate, which is a shame, because if you open your camera, then you're just in the screen, and now I can address you too. Anyway, could you, for this little story, could you invent an activity that would allow the kids to practice what you want them to learn? Yeah, could you do that now? I give you a task, and the task starts now. You write down what you want your what the better exercise is. Yeah, could you write down better exercises? Yeah, we get better exercise. And if you finish writing down, then you wave, so I know that you're done. Okay, John is okay. Half of the group is ready. Yeah, this is difficult, isn't it? Gerd, do you have an idea what to make? Okay, very good. Okay. Merel, you're done. Okay, everybody's done. Ernest is still thinking. Well, this is difficult. You have an idea.
Yeah, I'm puzzled. As a parent in the example, I know what to do, but
You see, this is a very, very, very fundamentalistic thing. It has nothing to do with activating large, or has everything to do with activating large audiences or small audiences. You see, this is one of the most. I think this is one of the simplest rules I cooked up in my life. I cooked this up because I wanted to help teachers. I saw them struggle with this. This is one of the simplest rules, yet it's one of the most difficult rules to apply because there's so many traps and sideways and missed opportunities here. Now, who has an idea? Who has an idea? Yeah, John Allen. What is your exercise for the kid?
Make the kid pick up the jacket and put it on the peg.
Okay. Make the kid pick up the jacket, put it on his head. That's wonderful, isn't it? So what does he learn? He learns to do it like this. He comes home, throws his jacket on the floor. Oh, then he comes back, he picks it up again, and then he puts it on the peg. Wonderful. Very efficient. Who has an advanced exercise? Roger.
Yeah, I would get the kid to come in the back door, hang up his jacket, take off his jacket, put it on, go out the front door.
Yeah,
go
okay.
Around, come in the back door, do that 100 times.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Ernest, you had this massive idea.
Yeah, well, reward him for doing the right thing.
Okay, and why does that help? Why on earth would you run around the house to do the same exercise? There's nothing in it. There is candy in it, yeah. Or you can beat your old dad, who's failure at cooking, but also at running because you're much faster than him. So there you go. Out of the front door, you also put on your coat. You go out of the front door. They go both. Of course, you are not as fast as him. And then he comes into the back door. He has his coat on the peg. Yes, and you do it again. And you lose all the time. Okay, so this is fun, isn't it? So we have, if you want them to learn this, you need to make them practice this. And then it's not obvious to analyze what to do. It's not obvious. Because John, you had many of your colleagues would come with your idea to pick it up and to hang it, but to analyze the thing that was the problem to solve, that is really difficult. And it's already difficult with hanging a coat on the peg. it's even more difficult when you want to have second order wave functions and the way they deviate in a whatever, yeah, in a gravity field, wherever you have whatever. Okay. Now, what's the problem we get from this? And what was the mistake that I made in the example, the first example? I made a mistake. I used the idea, learn this implies, yeah, what did I make in practice?
Listen.
I make the practice listen, which is learn this, practice that. That's what I did. I made him practice something else. This is, of course, obviously forbidden, isn't it? It's obviously forbidden. But it's not forbidden in education, because I'm afraid that this is all over your teaching. Could you think for yourself? You don't have to say it, but you take a minute now. And Jonna and Ernst and Frederica and ATV and Dirk Jan are also going to do this, and of course Ted. Could you think for yourself of something that you're not happy with in your teaching? You're teaching something and you're not happy with the result. You're just not happy with the results. So if you get the exam, they can't do it. It's not good. So first thing, something you're not happy with. Who has something you're not happy with?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, could you ask yourself, the teaching that I have for them, the learning events that I organize for them, what do they practice? And might it be that they practice something else, or they practice nothing, which of course is something you get for free if you start to do something like this. Before you know it, you're the one doing the practice, and they're just sitting there listening. Well, that would be practicing to listen to you. They can do that. They did that last week. They do it this week. They are masters at listening to you. Okay, but could you think for yourself? So I have to get. So my job as a teacher is not to explain. My job is to be a task giver. My teaching is as good as the tasks I give you, and the tasks I give you are as good as if they fit this, if they actually practice the thing you want your students to learn. Okay, so for the thing your students do not learn well enough, could you analyze for yourself? Okay, I wanted to learn this. What should I do? The answer is always, I should let them practice this. But what do you make them practice? There might be a that around. Yeah, I give you 2 minutes to figure it out, and people who are watching the video later on, they're also going to do this. If they pause the video, they might even think for 5 minutes. Is my task clear enough? It's not clear enough? Okay. So you think they didn't learn this good enough. What did I make them practice? What could I change there? What could I make them practice otherwise? If this didn't help. Who wants to share what thoughts they found? Anybody? Who solved the puzzle? Who solved the puzzle? Say, oh, okay. Okay. Wim.
Well, last year I've been teaching electricity and magnetism, and it was mostly online, but one day a week they were on campus, and then we had many conceptual problems in electromagnetism.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I have the same students for another course where they have to apply the knowledge, and I noticed that they cannot think about concepts, and they have difficulties to trace back the old information and to calculate how an instrument would work.
Okay. Okay.
And they practice a lot with making just calculations. That was the main activity.
Ah, okay, very good. And now you want them to apply those things in a different context on a different level.
Yes.
Yes.
And to think about concepts of electromagnetism instead of only they have to know which calculation they have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So you want to make them practice this, and they fail in doing that. So you are giving them the correct task, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens there? What happens there? I think that's an interesting thing. To get to another picture that I invented to help teachers and to help learning. Because what you did there, and you might, sorry for going into this, but also I'm going to get back to the others. But this is an excellent. Who wants to dive in deeper here? Because it's also your problem. Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. Here we get to another thing. But the rule, if you want them to learn this, they have to practice this. Always stands. I've never seen it fail. But what happened to you is that you were trapped in levels of complexity. Levels of complexity. This is, of course, a beautiful word, but this can be very complex, and this can be connected to all kinds of different sub-thises. And if I draw them, then well, I have a tendency of doing things on a micro level. Micro. Could be even a high level, but a micro level. Simple things on a micro level, which they need to be able to do in order. They need to be able to do this in order to do stuff on a mean level, where they combine the things that you teach. Yeah, and you did this last year. You want them to apply it now on the next level, and then you see they fail to make that step. To make this picture complete, and this is, I see a lot of teachers struggle with this. So before I go into detail, Wim, with your case, this, if I go one level up, then of course you see there is like this meta level, and the meta level, that's where you are as a teacher, isn't it? Yeah, you've done this all your life. You can do this without thinking about it. You can even do this with not too much thinking about it. You saw that it's basically the same trick all the time, didn't you? Yeah. This is your perspective as a teacher. And what we often forget is that they struggle here. Because you taught them that last year, and some of them had a very high grade. Some of them had a 6. What does a 6 mean? A 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10 means that they didn't do this. They couldn't do this. What's the tricky part is that this is vital to do that. And this is where you see high school students struggle. They have to do a physics task, and then they know what to do, and then they have to go to math. Oh shit! And they go down and they get lost because they don't know how to juggle with equations. And before they know how they juggled with equations, they forgot what they were doing here anyway. So what is the challenge here? The challenge is if you want them to learn this Very good, Win. Wonderful. You wanted them to practice this. But the requirements to practice this were being able to do that. So if you're not happy with reality, I'm sorry, teacher, I'm not happy with reality. What to do? Analyze reality and find out, wait a minute, they can't do this. Or they are afraid to do that. Could be that they just don't dare to make that step. Did you ask them to write down the 5 basic tools that they used last time?
Yeah, to some of them, and that way I could help them to solve the problem.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah, to revive the old knowledge.
Yeah, but you activate prior knowledge. But you could ask them. Could you write down? Could you explain to your neighbor what they were? There are 5 things. Maybe you say there's 6 things while there are only 5. So they start to think about number 6, and they have 5. Shit, what was number 6? Why not pester them? They paid their money to go into education. They should have a bad time. Now, but then, so you ask them to write down this, and then. Could you think of a very, very, very extremely horrifically simple example in which to do this? So you want them to make this happen on a mean level. For you, this is a piece of cake, isn't it? For them, it's not a piece of cake. This might be a piece of cake. So you put something in between, a simple exercise in which they combine only 2 things. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, you give the simple exercise. Oh, yes, we can do this. What did you just do? Oh, we use these 2 things to do something simple. Ah, wonderful. Okay, but you're bright students. Now you can use all 5 to do something even more complicated. So you see, it has to do with motivation. It has to do with making them dare to make the next step. They cling on to the idea, I don't know, I can't do this. That's why that's where they stuck. Yeah. But you see, this is where a lot of teaching trips over. It trips over because who knows? You know this when students enter your class that they can't do this. They can't do this, but they do enter your class. They had it 2 years ago, by the way. They can't do it. Who knows that? Yeah. Yeah. So you have this bunch of people in front of you, and you have the myth of the idea. They got that with Mechanics 1, so they all know that, so they can apply it. That's just not how it is. So you have to face the reality of the poor student. No, the eager student, yeah. And the reality is that they can do this, that, and that, and that, but not this. And this is vital to do that.
Yeah, but you will find out with the first assignment.
You
do assignments next to the lecture, and when you give an assignment, there are like 3 of them, you find out right at the first assignment whether they have all the basic knowledge or not.
Yeah, wonderful. But then you have the risk, and I think it's wonderful that you give them a quiz or you give them an assignment in the beginning, but you also have the trap of doing Mechanics 1 again. Yeah. No, Ernst doesn't have the trap of doing Mechanics 1 again because.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell them there is Mechanics 1, and if you didn't pick that up, then you have a problem.
Okay, yeah, which is wonderful. Yeah, so you do say, okay, if you can't do this, you have to do that, but that's outside the course. Yeah. What you could do if you want to have a bit of variation, because variation also helps to activate. Yeah. If it's all the time the same, that's horrible. So why not pick parts of your lecture? You have a lecture from the beginning to the end, and you could have some short training moments in your lecture, maybe at the beginning, I don't know, where you rapidly practice these things. Only a couple of minutes to awaken what they were able to do 2 years ago, and to make sure that you have more variation, to make sure they're more active in the meantime, and this makes sense to do this. Yeah, so they can have a little contest. Now, I don't know if this story is for you, but I do know teachers and you see them in the corridor and they complain, say, my students, I give them the same task all the time, and they don't see that it's the same task. Isn't it horrible? Yes, said the other teacher, I have that too. My students, well, I don't know how. It's so easy. It's all the time the same. Who recognizes this feeling? Nobody? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. John, that was the bit. So for John and Roel, and for the people whom I couldn't see the hands of, if your learning objective is to make them able to see and know and apply the meta level, what should you make them practice?
The meta level.
The meta level. You see how strong this idea is. If you want to learn them to learn this, make them practice this. And that's not what we do. We don't say after 5 exercises, okay, wait a minute, could we make a drawing of the general approach to solving these problems? Because it's always the same, isn't it? And they make a drawing, and then you let them use the drawing next to the 6th exercise that you give them. And then they say, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing all the time. But if you don't let them practice, they will not learn that. So that's. So this is a strong idea. This picture, and I just drew it like this. It could be different for maybe there's a sub level in between. I don't know. But if you make a picture like this, you can analyze whatever you're not happy with. And with this rule, I hope that you'll actually make this tile or have it on a mug. Maybe I will make mugs and sell them, yeah, for a cheap price. Let them practice this. This, in my teaching, I've been teaching for 20 years now, the same subject, and I found that this was my main problem. I didn't know what this was in depth. So I had to, and then I started to talk about this, but not to let them practice this. And the further I got, the better my students became. Because I was able to analyze all the little thises that are there and to make sure that they are all they're all practiced. Very good. Okay. Yeah. I think annoying little rhymes help to have your mind in the right mindset. I made one. I tried to make it as annoying as possible. Do not tell and do not ask. Give a smart, exciting
task.
Ta-da. You see, and if I would have written down this, you would have seen it, and you wouldn't have invented it. So now I activated you to so it's your idea also, yeah. So why not make them owners of the idea? Let them be the heroes. So because they found what you are teaching them, you only have simple questions. But then they invented, they invented aerodynamics. Wow, yeah. If you can make them do that, so I think this is a strong idea to have. Which doesn't mean that you never should tell them. Try to give. I'll try to make you do something. Yeah, I'll try to make you do something. See how I'll succeed. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to try to make you do something. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You can sit down. You can sit down again. I didn't expect to be successful here. So I can make you stand up. I can make you stand up. That's something. That's if that makes sense. It's a good idea. The point I wanted to make is that it will be very hard to make them do something without telling them anything. Yeah, without making them telling them anything. So that brings us to an idea of how to look at your lectures and your teaching. It's obvious that you have to tell them something. Of course you can ask questions, yeah? Of course you can ask questions. Who uses questions to activate the audience? Yes, wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, you use questions. Now, if you have 100 people in the audience, yeah? You have 100 people in the audience, I'm going to ask you a question, and my meta question is, could you please raise your hand if you think this is enough? Yeah, this is enough. So your hand goes up if it's enough. Yeah, and it's already done. Okay, so okay, I'll step into another situation. Ah, wonderful, wonderful to see you all. Yeah, holiday destinations, isn't it wonderful? If you have a holiday, then you can go somewhere, and maybe when all the rules are gone, then we can just go where we really want to be on holiday. So yeah, so I'm really eager to know what your favorite holiday destination is. So Merel, what's your favorite holiday destination?
France.
France, delightful France, and sunny and wine and everything. Who has a different holiday destination? Think, wow. Anybody? Yeah, Ernest?
Italy.
Oh,
You want to hear my holiday destination?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Your favorite holiday
Love
destination?
to travel to the UK again, if
UK.
possible.
That would be wonderful if we don't have to go in lockdown before we can really go around the UK. It's my favorite too. Another one.
It used to be La Palma.
It used to be La Palma. That's
Since yesterday.
Since yesterday it was La Palma. It's you're always into fiery holidays, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody else, but please raise your hand if you think this is enough. Somebody else. Favorite holiday destination. Rule. Where do you want to go?
Spain.
Spain. That's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. And Wim.
Yeah,
Wim,
also Spain.
also
Yeah.
Spain is wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. And you see that the hands start to go up after 2-3 people saying something. Yeah. This is what happens, and this is what happens if you are so you're a teacher. You got this. Wait a minute. It's about activation. You learned that somewhere. So you're going to ask students, and you have 200 students in your lecture hall. 3 people can say something before it becomes utterly boring. Then you've effectively activated 89.5% of the people not. Yeah? You didn't activate 89, and the rest, they were just sitting there waiting for the good answer to come. And that's why I made this little rhyme, because it's the myth of interaction if you ask questions. Now, what could you do instead of asking questions if you follow this rule? Let's try this for now. Yeah, I'll show you how you can also do it. Okay, here I have a little activity to explore holiday destinations. Yeah, could you all write down your favorite holiday destination now on a piece of paper, and action. Yeah, and then the people with short holiday destinations are already done. People with longer holiday destinations or with dyslexia and who haven't got a clue how to write Azerbaijan. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let me see. Hands in the air for the UK. Hands in the air for the UK. Yeah, there we have the UK people. Hands in the air for France. Yeah, and hands in the air for La Palma. Okay. Now, one other. Naomi, what's your favorite holiday destination?
Actually, backpacking in mountains, doesn't matter where.
Okay, in mountains, doesn't matter where. Okay, who also likes backpacking in mountains, doesn't matter where? Yes, wonderful. You see, this is the same thing, but then now I made you all active. That's the trick. So, okay, we already covered a lot, didn't we? I made you all active by doing some kind of exercise that's connected to the learning objective I had. What more did I use? I did more things. I didn't use this. What other things did I use?
You rewarded us by complimenting us.
Yeah. Okay. So I gave you a good feeling, a bit like with the coat and the running around and beat your dad. Yeah. So I complimented you. I shaped, instead of asking a question and then getting some answers, I gave you a task. And then I ask you to say something, and then I ask you to raise hands. And then I made some variation to ask the last one and to make everybody raise their hand who recognizes the last one. So I made this into a whole chain of small activities. And this is something that links back to we need a lot. We as teachers need to do a lot to make it happen over there. We need to do a lot to make it happen over there. Yeah, I'm thinking what I could add here. The thing is, when you're lecturing, you have students in front of you. When you were much younger, you're sitting over there, and you were not lecturing. And what was it called then? What was it called then?
Sorry?
So you're much younger, you're sitting over there. So now you're the lecturer. When you were younger, you were sitting over there, you were a student, but when you were even younger, you were, well, a high school student. What was the situation called? It was called a
Class.
A class, yeah. And you did have classes, so it's lectures, they come after. You did have classes that you didn't like too much, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so I wasn't particularly excited about geography. Yeah, but everybody has their traits. I really like chemistry, but so your attention as a function of time, what did it do in those classes? Could you draw it? Could you draw it in the air, please? Could you all draw it in the air? Yeah, something that wasn't too high to begin with, and then it went down, isn't it? And how long did it take before it started to go down?
Depended on the class, but
It depended on the class. But the
About
beauty
20 minutes if you're lucky.
if you're lucky, 20 minutes. And the average class?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. I asked around. I asked 7 minutes. It's 7 minutes because 7 is the nicest number below 10. But there is something else here, and this is what happens. And you know that it's because you were obliged to go. You weren't interested, yeah, and you had short attention spans, isn't it? Yeah, that's you know that, yeah. But then you could choose the study of your dreams. Finally, no more geography, no more French, and your attention was extremely high, and it remained high. Nobody recognizes this. What what happened? What happened to your attention in the study of your dreams? Naomi has to laugh now, so please share how it went with you.
I would say your dreams are never really what you pictured when shirting them.
So it's the problem of the dreams. Okay, very good. So this is not a problem. No, it's your dreams. You have foul dreams. I can imagine. Yeah, very very good. Who recognizes? Well, when I did the study of my dreams, it was still going like that. Ah, shit. When I finished the study of my dreams physics, I went to my first conference. I saw people sleeping together in the dark. That's when I thought, why not solve this? And you know, my teachers told me why this happened. They said, of course, it's because you're not interested, you have to go. But that's not the case when you have the study of your dreams, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But then you have short attention spans. Now, if you're watching a Netflix series, what happens to your attention? Could you draw that in the air? And you do become active when Wim's attention goes down. But a nice series or a nice movie, good movie. And a great movie, which is really exciting if you go until the end, goes even up, doesn't it? So the best case, yeah, it's not a fair comparison, but the best case is that it goes like this. Well, wait a minute. Our teachers told us that it was because of the short attention spans. And that's just not true. The problem is even more severe than this. And the solution is very obvious. The thing is that what you do here with the people over there is you communicate with them. Yeah, this is not how you normally communicate. How do you normally communicate? Normal communication. Take it away.
Back and forth interactively.
And of course, you have a nice conversation with somebody. Who can do this for hours? No problem at all. We can do this for hours. Yeah. So if we look at what we do here and then think what goes wrong as you do that, then you might be able to figure out what goes wrong. I'm going to have a normal conversation with Ernest, and what the others are going to do is you're going to snap your finger when the other responds. Yeah. So I'm going to do. Okay, Ernest, did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah, I had a wonderful weekend this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do?
Well, I went to visit my son who has a new home.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, he changed something in his actually in his plumbing, and I needed to check if everything was all right.
Okay, yeah, and he called the chief plumber. I imagine. Okay, wonderful. How much time was there between the snaps?
Very little.
Very little. And what is very little? 2 seconds. Normal conversation. After 2 seconds, the other starts to talk back. Now, this is not about activating the audience. This is about deactivating the audience. It's quite the opposite, which is what you do if this happens. And it's definitely what you do if this happens. Yeah. I'm going to give you my cookery class, and you're going to measure your attention for my performance. Which means if your attention is high, your hand is high in the air. Attention low, hand is low, goes dynamically up and down. Fairly confrontational for me, but so you're measuring attention now, yeah? Measure your attention for my performance. Hand in the air. There we go. Okay, Naomi also hand in the air. Very good, very good. Ernst, join in. Yes, you can do it. Okay. Now, welcome everybody to again an episode of You Can Learn How to Cook, and today on the menu is how to bake a home-baked apple pie. In Holland, of course, a very important dish, and you can't celebrate a birthday without such a pie. And what are the ingredients? Of course, you need apples, butter, flour, and sugar, but without cinnamon, you're lost. And apart from Roger and Ged, I lost everybody, but yeah, we're just fans of heel Holland bakt. Yeah, so that's logical. How long? Wim, you can let it go. How long did it take for the first hands to go down? 2 seconds. Always wondered if this is what you want, why wait for 7 minutes if you can have it actually after 2 seconds? Yeah. But you see, you needed something after 2 seconds, and I didn't give it to you. Which means that if I would want your attention to stay high over here, and if you're explaining something before you actually activate them, how long do you need to talk? Question to the audience?
2 seconds.
Well, 2 seconds to effectively. Well, I guess you need more to make do a task. You need more. You need a minute or maybe 1.5 minutes. Now, why did you lose your attention in this apple pie act? I use my intonation in a monotonous way. I use my communication system completely inadequately. Yeah, so it was a complete mess. Let's say I would do it enthusiastically, and then see what happens to your attention. So you measure your attention as a function of time, and I will do the same thing enthusiastically. Yeah, cool. Join in. There we go. Yeah, yes, join in. Very good. Oh no, everybody. Now, welcome everybody to again an episode of You Can Learn How to Cook, and today on the menu is how to bake this home-baked apple pie. In Holland, of course, a very important dish, since you can't celebrate a birthday without such a pie. And what are the ingredients? Of course, you need apples, butter, flour, and sugar, but without cinnamon, you're lost. And how long do you need to put it in the oven? Well, about an hour would do, but even though I'm enthusiastic, I'm still losing you. So this problem, which is always drawn like this, and this is your intuition, this is not how it goes, friends. It starts to be disturbed after the 3rd sentence already. Why? Because if you think back of the lovely, delightful chat I had with Ernst was extremely dynamic. I tried to be as dynamic as I could because that's how we talk. That's how we talk. So if I activate you and I make sure that the actions I bestow upon you, could you write down something? You write down something. Okay, can I hear it from you? Can I hear it from you? Big hand of applause for him. That you have this second scale variation in your lecturing, that is vital for their attention. And it's vital that you use everything that you do here, but then more. Yeah, you need to do this times 3. Okay, did I answer the questions that I was supposed to answer? I believe not. I always start with where you are and then see where we end up. But if I recap what we've been talking about, or I ask you to recap what we've been talking about. So empty page again. What did you take from this webinar? Yeah, Merel.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, what I got from this webinar is, well, how to activate, and not by just telling or asking random questions, but give them a task. Don't sell, don't tell, but give them a task.
Yeah, cool. And somebody else, what did somebody else get from this?
A task on this. That's
task that does something on this. Yeah, and Roel, what did you get?
Yeah, exactly. Learn this, practice this.
Yeah, okay, very good, very good. So there's 2 times, yeah. More things.
Stand up while you're doing the webinar rather than sitting down in front of your webcam.
Yeah. Stand up, please. Stand up. It's also good for your back, by the way. It's a little investment. You have to have a table which is a bit higher, but stand up, please. Yeah, wonderful. Other things you learned?
Variation.
Variation is key. If you have a dinner with only bananas, at a certain point, people start to throw them at you. Yeah. Don't be afraid of humor. Yeah. Because it also activates. Yeah.
I was going to say about the rhymes. The rhymes caught my attention.
Okay. Yeah. Annoy them with rhymes. With rhymes. Yeah. If you have a good rhyme, I don't know how to spell it. A good rhyme that sticks, and it's nice if it's annoying, but it's okay. Annoy them with rhymes. Things. If you want to teach on meta level, teach on meta level. Give them a task on meta level. Now, there's going to be a course in November where we have more time to guide you with this. And what will we teach you there? We will teach you there to activate them while you talk without making them do anything. Where you use storytelling tools like I used when I said the kid came home and he threw his jacket on the floor. Who saw the movie when I told that story? The movie in the mind. The movie in the mind is one of the most impressive things when it comes to memory. So you learn movies in the mind. Movie in the mind. We're going to look at what do games and sports do. That was a bit promised in this session, but we didn't end up there because I followed what you came across with it. So we're going to work on activating using tools from sports and games. And we're going to help you guide the process because your role as a guider of that process is not obvious. There's a lot of things that can go wrong there. I can ask you a question, make it completely impossible for you to think about the answer. And I can make it possible for you to think about the answer. So that's, and then if you can do this, then, then you're a teacher with focus on what it's, I guess, really about, is giving tasks and letting them be the heroes of the show. And now we've reached 11 o'clock and I have to stop, for which I'm heartily sorry, but you have other appointments. I thank you very much for coming here. Hope to see you and good luck with everything. I'm still here for questions. If you still want to ask questions, then, but people who have to go can feel free to go. And then.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. So thanks for watching it.
Okay.